warm up? Should we have a chat first?
Yeah, let's just like try to be humans, maybe. Maybe
Yeah,
that's what we
because
do. Let's try to be
it's probably.
humans and then we'll
I
put
was
an
like, should we
intro,
warm up with
outro.
a song? I have my harmonica.
Yeah. La 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 la. No, you have a
I was like,
harmonica.
let's
Is
go
that
to
what you just
karaoke
said?
in Japan real quick, and then we'll be good. We'll be ready for the
Good
podcast.
to go. They'll shake it
Yeah.
out. Shake it out.
Yeah. Um.
Okay.
Okay. Well, welcome back. Location confused. We're here. We're still in the same locations, actually.
Yeah.
Where are you today?
We know where we are right now. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah,
So I'm still in Thailand and you're still in Vietnam.
I'm still in Vietnam, and
Yeah.
I'm a year older. So
Yeah,
be
your
prepared.
birthday.
Be
Yay.
prepared for some wise news on this podcast now. Now that I
Sage
am.
advice coming at you.
Yeah. I let me tell you, I could not sleep. Like I all of a sudden I have insomnia. Never dealt with that, but like I don't know why in the last week. I don't know what it is. It's like a transition. Like I never sleep before a flight. Like the night even if my flight is at 12 like noon, I can't sleep the night before. And it used to be like
Really?
I'm worried about like missing my flight, but I don't take the 6 a.m.s anymore. So for some reason, I mean, I am up. Like my eyes are closed, no one's tired. I'm
Yeah.
like, what's happening? And so last night, I didn't go to bed till
Yeah.
6 a.m. And
Reasonable hour. Yeah.
yeah, I had a client call at 9, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm just going to take a little nap before my client call.
God.
Yeah, and you know what people don't talk about a lot is, um, the roosters in Asia, in Southeast Asia. They're everywhere. Like 4 a.m. roosters, Vietnam.
Yeah.
I'm in a town or a city, I guess, but like roosters are everywhere.
100%. They are your friends. They will let you know what time it is no matter where you are. Yeah. Where you are, it's like a small enough city that, yeah, there are roosters aplenty. And
And
like
you
the
don't actually
dogs.
see them. Like you don't like obviously roosters are
No.
like in like there's no backyards. They're like just in the house or in the living
They're like in
space,
their
I
little
guess.
like garden because
Yeah.
like so many people have like little gardens in their
Yeah.
area that's sort of like
Like the
fenced off that you
front
can't really
area.
see.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've never seen the rooster, never actually seen it, but you
Yeah.
hear it loud and proud at
I
like,
mean,
yeah, 4
loud.
a.m., 5 a.m.
I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, this is happening." And I was like, "What's?" Because the first night I was in this hotel, there was a family next door, and just like the walls are really thin. Like it's just kind of what you get for Asia, right? Like it's a
Yeah.
mid-tier hotel. It's new, it's nice, but the walls are always thin. If it's
Mhm.
not like a chain, like Wyndham, Marriott, like Hyatt, like they're just gonna be thin, and so everything echoes. So like I could hear the kids. It was Saturday night, and it's so funny, and it was like 10 p.m. and I was like, why are they still up? They should be in bed. Like coming from the girl that's in bed. Like
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. You're like, I do not have children, but I have strong opinions on bedtimes. Now I know when children should be in bed, 100%.
yeah. I was like, I couldn't sleep, and then today it was the roosters. And I was like, I don't know which was worse, kids or roosters. And I think probably roosters because they don't stop.
No, they don't get tired. They are just
Mm-mm.
like they have one job to do and they're going to start to finish that job. And it could take hours. It could take hours for it to happen. And this is why I sleep with a noise machine. I travel with a noise machine. And it is like the world's tiniest noise machine, but it saves me because I mean, I still hear the dogs. There's also dogs everywhere.
Yeah.
So you constantly hear the middle of the night barking. And I'm a dog lover. I love dogs. And at the same time, at 2 o'clock in the morning, when I'm trying to sleep and someone walks past a place or like there's like a small whatever, and you hear this dog go off and it goes off like a house alarm for like 3 hours waiting for, turn it off. Yeah, it's not never ending. When I was staying in Bali, there was a dog across the street that was very sensitive and could easily be startled, I guess. I don't know if it was blind. I don't know what its story is, but yeah, it let us know if anyone walked down our little alley street. It was great. I loved that
Yeah.
experience.
It's one of the coolest experiences I've ever had is working at a dog clinic in Thailand.
I
And
thought
I
that would
did
be
it for a
amazing.
month, and I did it with Workaway.
Mhm.
You've heard of Workaway, right? So I did
I think I
have you heard of
have.
Workaway?
What is it though
Yeah.
for the
It's like
listeners?
World Backpackers, I think. I don't know if that's the other one, but Vo is a website, and I have literally, like, told because it's like, how do you when I was first starting my nomad journey, I was like, "Alright, I
Mhm.
gotta save." I was doing the whole hostel thing, and I was like, "How am I gonna get more experiences?" And so Workaway was so cool. You could get on the website, put in a bio, and, like, filter out jobs that you would wanna do, and so it's like it's work f in exchange for accommodation. So since you can't technically get paid without a
Mhm.
visa, there's no payment, it's just like one of those, like, transactional, like, we'll give you a bed and maybe a lunch, and you work these certain hours.
Mhm.
And so I did that for a month in Sarajevo, which is south of Pattaya, and it's this rural town, and there's a dog clinic called Animal Army, and it was run by a wife and husband veterinarian, Thai veterinarian, and they built their own kind of clinic. The year I did it, it was like the 3rd month of volunteers, which is kind of crazy because
Yeah.
they can house, like, 60 dogs at a time, and I was like, "What do you mean you didn't have volunteers before?" Like, they have 2 Thai people on staff. They have one person that does, like, kind of the labor jobs, like the maintenance, carrying the dogs if they're too heavy, and then there's a woman that did all the housekeeping. She did the laundry, but, like, the dog cages, like, I mean, they're constantly dirty, so it was
Mhm.
they got Workaway involved, and then they got a couple houses across the street that were basically empty, but they had twin beds in them. I think now they've changed it a little bit more, but, and we stayed in those, and we had air conditioning in our room, but no air conditioning in the common area, 1 bathroom, and yeah, we would just literally be over there to sleep and then go back over to the clinic and, like, I mean, I cleaned a lot of dog shit, but yeah, it was really interesting to learn about the care of dogs in Thailand compared to, like, I'd just come from Bali, and I guess the Thai government, this could all be different now, um, is is not required does not require people to sterilize their dogs. So I mean, we'll be out in a field and I mean, I'm not kidding, you could see 50 dogs. And you don't know if they're strays or if they're owned. And I was like, why don't we just round them up and sterilize them? And they're like, well, if they're owned and their owner didn't want them sterilized, we could get in a lot of trouble. It's like an ownership thing. It's kind of sad because people in Thailand don't treat them well. This is just for my small reference, but, like, because there's so many strays, they may be going after their livelihood. Like, they may be going after their chickens. And so we'll get animals brought in that have been, like, shot with a bow and arrow because they probably were going after their livelihood. So it's like, so we get them, they were shot with bow and arrows, some were run over by motorbikes, and it was probably not intentional. But when I was there was like 9 dogs that were paralyzed.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's just
So
like from the North American lens of looking at things. That's just it's
mhm.
wild, the way that
I was
people are with their dogs and things. It's crazy.
so close to adopting a dog that was
Yeah.
paralyzed because they do have a program. There's another, like, corporation called, gosh, Angel I'll look it up, but it's a corporation that basically, if you wanna adopt a dog, you don't even have to be, like, a volunteer. If you see a dog you wanna adopt, that corporation takes care of getting all of the paperwork and getting the dog over to your country, and that's usually
Wild.
by way of a volunteer because all of the volunteers are, like, from all over. So I didn't
Yeah.
do it because I was continuing on, but some people,
Mhm.
like, were going back to Europe, and they're like, "Hey," like, basically, "We'll help fund your flight
Mhm.
if you can be the person in charge of this dog."
Yeah.
So it's a really cool concept, but I was like, "Am I gonna do" like, I think I text someone, I was like, "Should I bring a dog home, that's paralyzed?" And they're like, "Do you ever wanna, like, leave your house again?" I was like, "Oh, maybe."
Yeah.
But I was like,
Are you planning
"She
on
would've
coming
loved
back
it."
to the States right now? Because
Yeah. I was like,
that's
she
how
had
you
a
could do it.
wheelchair, she loved the beach, and I was like, "She would've been great." Like, she would've been great in Charleston, where I'm from, but I wouldn't be sitting here right now if I had a paralyzed dog.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was such a
100%.
cool way to see cultures. I highly recommend
Yeah.
Workaway for anyone that's, like, interested. It was kinda hard to have a I will say, like, not full-time job, like, I was starting the travel company, but
Yeah.
the Wi-Fi wasn't great, and I only had to work, like, 5 hours a day. Like, there's certain, like, regulations, that you and then you get a
Mhm.
couple days off or 1 day off a weekend, but, it was hard because it was rural, and, like, it's just kind
Yeah.
of a crapshoot if you're gonna get good enough internet or not, but
But I mean,
I highly recommend.
like, for someone who's just, like, looking for an experience, like, hey, it's an experience that you had, you know what I mean? Like, it
Yeah,
may not have been, on one of the islands in Thailand, but still, you, like, lived in Thailand for a month and got to experience an area that probably not many foreigners actually go to and get to
yeah.
experience. So that's pretty cool. Like,
Yeah,
I
we
think
were
that's
definitely the
a great
only
way to do it.
Western people, like,
Yeah.
I mean, the options for dinner because we got lunch every day,
Mhm.
were the 7-Eleven and then the night market, which was, like, the local night market, and then there was, like, a
Yeah.
20-minute walk to a sushi place that we walked one night, but, like, none of us had cars, none of us at the time, no one I was with had a motorbike.
Yeah.
There's not really Grab because it's rural, so and we were
Yeah.
all so tired anyway, it was so hot and, like, smelly and, like, I can say that I spent a month in a rural, like, village,
Yeah.
in the middle of Thailand.
Mm, stray dogs. Like,
Yeah,
that's
and just
cool.
seeing kind of, like, I mean, I got to know some locals, and I think we made tacos one night, like, we went to a big grocery store, um,
Yeah.
and I was the American, I was like, "Let's make tacos," and buying cheese and tortilla wraps in Thailand is kind of
Good luck.
expensive.
Well, that's honestly when you're here. I was talking with my brother this morning and we were talking about food. And I was saying, I keep on intending to cook. Like last year when I was traveling for the first time, the first full year, I was like, I don't care if I have a kitchen, if I cook, whatever. I'm going to live my life and we'll see how that goes. And then this year I was like, okay, well, we need to make this like a sustainable thing. So I'm going to, and by it's the royal we, it's obviously me. We're going to try cooking
Yeah,
and I still have not cooked once. I've thrown together a salad because most of the countries that I've been to so far since I sort of like got off the boat, like got off NomadCruise, it's cheaper
so cheap.
to buy the food. Like in
Yeah,
Bali and Thailand, the groceries are so expensive that it makes more sense to just order food. And
yeah,
even if you're doing like a grab, like, I can go for lunch and get like a tofu cashew vegetable,
yeah,
like really good, pretty healthy outside of the oils that obviously we can't control if we don't make our own food. But like I can go and do that and I'm paying $2 Canadian.
yeah,
That's nothing. And like to go get all of those ingredients and do it's so much more expensive.
yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it doesn't make sense to do the
No, it
grocery
really
shopping.
doesn't. I mean, I've had a hard time because I like cooking. I've missed my
Yeah.
protein. I really do try to eat hard-boiled eggs when I'm home, and that's something that I can do. Like,
Yeah.
if there's a kettle, I can make hard-boiled eggs, but if you're in a place for such a short period of time, it, like, doesn't make any sense.
100.
I went over to there's a little mini mart, of course, the mini marts everywhere, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I'm just lazy. I'm just gonna get, like, one of the old ramen, like, bowls and just use my kettle, like, whatever." I wasn't that hungry. Heather, I woke up like I was hungover. Like, it was so much sodium. I
Your
woke
face is
up,
all of a sudden like
I
super
felt s
puffy and
I felt so groggy. I was like, "Oh god, did I drink last night?" I was like, "Oh, no, 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 you drank a sodium bath, basically, of chemicals." I was
you've
like,
just been like
"Okay."
wrung out. There's no more.
I mean, I felt terrible. I had, like, the worst headache, and I literally was like, "Did I drink and forget?" And I was like, "No, you just ate things that you, like, were putting in your body at 20, like, not
Yeah.
37."
Yeah. No, you have to no, you need those real vegetables now and the
Yeah,
real seasoning, not just the salt. It's worth the extra, like, dollar to order the Grab
exactly.
takeout if you're gonna eat from home,
Yeah,
Like, at least then you're getting, like, real food.
yeah. Oh my god. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but,
100%.
yeah, well, that, like also, I've just had such a big week, but I went from living with people for the last couple weeks, like, traveling with people from the Nomad Cruise
Yeah.
to no one, and I gotta find a balance because
Yeah.
I in my adult life, I've, like, never had a long-term relationship, except, like, when I had roommates, kind of different, but
Mhm.
where someone was always checking up on me or, like, "What are we doing? What's the plan today? Because 'Cause we're staying in the same place." And I'm
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I have to say this out loud to someone?" No, I usually just say it to myself. Like,
Yeah. Or like I go based upon how I'm feeling on that day, on that moment. I don't pre-plan. I remember staying with a friend for a month in Greece. It was an adjustment after not living with someone, not staying with someone for about 15 years,
yeah.
and then going to a very tiny apartment, just the 2 of us. That takes some adjusting, and you could love like, you could be a huge fan of this person, really like them,
Yeah.
really get along with them well. You share a space,
It's
whole
totally
new
different.
world, whole new
It's
world.
totally di and it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go work for a couple hours, and, like, I'm just a little slow when it comes to work because I don't have a 9 to 5, and that is, like, the beauty of
Mhm,
the remote work. It's like you can have all day when you don't make
mhm.
plans, and so it's like 2 hours later, "Are you done with work?" I'm like, "Nope." Did we have an agenda?" I'm like, "Sorry." I'm like, "It's not you, it's literally me." Like, I don't know how to, like, communicate that.
Yeah, like, I haven't actually decided what I'm doing for today. I haven't 100%.
Yeah. So it's and then I went from and then no one. I've been alone, so, like, I barely talk to anyone, and I met up with another Nomad cruiser today. I met up with Andrea,
Yeah.
and we co-worked, and I think I talked her face off for, like, a good 40 minutes, and I was like, "Wow, sorry. Maybe I should talk to people."
You
I was like, "We
honestly,
were
you
supposed to be
need to at
working, right?"
least yeah, you at least need to, like, voice note people. Like, at least do that to, like, get it out of you.
Mhm.
I sent a voice note to a friend today and I was like, "Oh, apparently you and I are now doing a podcast, and I'm just doing my own podcast to you," as I sent you an 11-minute long voice note. 11 minutes. I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you'll listen to that when you're free, I'm sure." Like, it's just if you don't get it out, honestly, if you don't have someone to talk to, it's like all of a sudden, yeah, you like verbal diarrhea
I
on
mean, it was
someone after a couple days.
and we were catching up on, like, Nomad Cruise, 15T, because it's like
Yeah.
we had different experience we were basically on a different cruise because she was like, "I
Yeah.
didn't know that happened. I didn't know that was happening. Oh, you and Heather are making a podcast?" It's just like, I was like, "We were on the same conference cruise," but
Yeah.
I didn't
There's
actually
some things
become friends with her
you are
until Sydney.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't talk to her until Bali. Like, I didn't even get to know her until then, and she's lovely, and I
Yeah.
was so sad that I didn't get to know her before, but yeah, it's like, it's so interesting. There's these people there was someone that I met in Bali that I was like, we were on the same we were on the same boat for a month, and we never met. And that's just that happens, and you don't think that it could happen. You're like, "How could you possibly be on a cruise
Yeah.
for, 27 days with 230 people that you're regularly seeing and doing things with and not interact with them?" And it's like, it's easier than you think.
Yeah, no,
And
it
I'm a
really is.
social well, we're both social girlies. Like, we were
Yeah.
both out there living our
I
lives.
was like, "How did I not talk to you?" I talked to everyone.
Literally. Like, I don't understand how I didn't have, some kind of conversation with you at some point in
Yeah.
time,
I was like, "I'm
you
actually
know?
offended that we weren't friends until after Sydney because
Yeah,
I was friends with
make it make
everyone
sense.
on the
Yeah.
cruise."
Percent. We should have been besties by now. We should have been very established. Well, and
Yeah.
it's a whole different it's interesting when you hear what other people's experiences were. Like, even
Mhm.
on Nomad Cruise 13, which I have been told by someone, I have to share this feedback that I received. So, if you're a Nomad cruiser, like if you've done a Nomad cruise, you call it by the number. If you are not a Nomad cruiser, you call it by the destination.
Okay.
So, I've learned this because someone was like, "What is with all of like, you guys are like Nomad Cruise 13, Nomad Cruise 4." No one knows what those are. And it's so true unless you were, like, on them. I just thought it was hilarious when they told me,
I
they're like, "You
but
sound like you're part of a cult."
I wonder when that changes because, like, I can't imagine that, like, someone that was on Nomad Cruise 4 remembers it right away.
Yeah. Well, and you
Like,
wouldn't
"Oh,
remember the
Nomad
nu
Cruise
like,
4,
it's
blah, blah."
yeah. And you wouldn't remember, like, the destination. Like, you
Yeah.
wouldn't if I do 6 more, am I gonna remember that 13 was Tokyo? or
Yeah.
Yokohama. Like, am
No,
I
I
gonna
will
remember
always
that?
remember.
Probably not. Always.
We're getting NC-13 right here. Wait, NC and then the Roman numeral, and we just keep adding to it.
Yeah, 100%. 100 for everyone we've done. For everyone we've done. We
Just
just actually it's not even the
we
Roman
start
numerals. We
trapping.
do like a cruise ship where it's like the scratches for
Yes.
5. That's what we need. That's what we
Yes.
need.
Wait, did I just get goosebumps? Sure did.
100% you did.
We are just coming up with so many good ideas. Oh my god.
Johannes, if you're listening, free drink package for life.
Oh
That
my
is a
god.
requirement.
Every time I
Any
walk
and
by,
all. I was just gonna say any and all, unsolicited NomadCruise advertisements.
yeah, exactly. How many times have we
We
said
just
it?
need to make that a yeah.
Every time I walk past a shop, I, in my
Mhm.
head, am always texting you, "Should we get tattoos? Should we get tattoos?" And I was like,
Yeah,
"Well, I
100%.
think if we're
We
not in the
have
same
to.
location and we're getting tattoos, we need to do it together, like, on face like, we need to
Yeah.
set up. We need
I'm
to coordinate."
I'm down for this. I also was like, I feel like I need to get 7 tattoos in the next week to make up for all the tattoos that I've talked about getting. For the listeners out there, just for reference, I have
She
a
has
lot of
they're on her
tattoos.
face. No, I'm just kidding.
They're on my face. They're actually when I blink, it's another eye on my eyelid. No, I'm not to that extreme, but I do have a lot of tattoos. So my friends tell me that it's my thing, apparently, is I'm a tattoo person. So it's
I
not
have a lot
uncommon
too.
for
I
me
have
to
5. Wait,
yeah.
I have 5.
I've got like 27 or 28 or something.
Yours are, like,
So
way
it's
cuter than
like
mine.
I mean, so once again, for the listeners, to give you reference, one time I was in France and I screwed up when I needed to be somewhere. So I had 3 extra hours to kill. So I was looking on Google Maps and I found that there was a walk-in tattoo parlor. So I went and I got a croissant tattooed on my leg
I'm like,
because I
I
had
love
3
that.
hours to kill. Yeah, I know. I'm like, what's the stupidest tattoo that I could get right now? A croissant? Perfect. That's how I want to remember this moment.
To commemorate, like, my full year of travel when I went nomadic,
Croissant man.
I got an airplane.
I love that.
I'm the most basic white girl you can be, like,
Yeah,
"I'm gonna get an
100%.
airplane."
I support it. Yeah. I mean,
But everyone does comment they
I
like, it's a good
also
placement.
have a little airplane. It's a little globe with a little airplane going around. Do you know what? All of a sudden, you just wake up one day and you're like, "Oh my god, I have 15. How did that happen?" It just starts to occur, and then I've decided that I wanna get a tattoo for, like, most places I go to. Like, if I feel a pull to get a tattoo to commemorate a place, then I wanna get a tattoo for it. So, I've got some ideas.
My last one is, like, pretty cool. I got pretty cool. I got in June of last year. I was working
Okay.
at a local brewery in Charleston, and
Mhm.
so when I was home, I'd work there, and that gave me, like, community while I was home, so I wasn't just talking to a computer all the time at my
Mhm.
house, and it was actually one of those jobs that, like, I'll never forget that place. It ended up closing because fuck private equity, and American capitalism, but it was the oldest brewery in South Carolina called Palmetto Brewery, and then the lease was up, the guy wasn't paying rent, he was a nepo baby, that just did what he wanted with daddy's money and was like, "Oh, I guess we'll just close." So, like, we had, like, a 5-day notice.
Mhm.
The week after, there was, like, 10 of us that went and got these little if you can see in there, this little
Nice.
palm tree tattoo, and it's that palm tree is the state logo, South Carolina state logo, but how it's drawn is, like, the Palmetto logos. There's, like that's also a cult. There's, like, 13 of us in Charleston walking around with that tattoo.
Perfect.
So but it's cool, but everyone's like, "Oh, yeah, that's the logo," and I'm like, "It is the flag logo." I'm like, "Yeah, kinda, but it's for beer."
Yeah. It's cooler than
Yeah,
just the
but
state
that was,
flag.
like, super off track.
That's okay. I mean, us talking about tattoos in general is super off track.
I know, I'm like, "I
This
want
whole
tattoos."
this whole conversation has gone off the rails, but that's okay.
Speaking of travel news, do you have a Capital One credit card? Or can you?
I don't. So in Canada, the Capital One card that well, let me qualify because I am not a points girly. I'm not a points expert. I'm not any of that. But I believe the one that's in Canada, we can't like there's no benefit really to it. There's no like points or travel benefit for it. So I don't have one because it just doesn't make sense for me.
Okay, here's my this is a little hot take moment. Capital One, basically, Capital One Venture X had is a travel reward credit card in the US. And one of the biggest benefits is it comes with Priority Pass, which is the lounge access. And then you can also use Capital One lounges by having the card. Just by having the card, you don't have to have status with an airline or anything. Last summer, they made this announcement, but it took effect February 1. And
Mhm.
the announcement was you are now no longer allowed to bring a guest in for free. And that riled up the families because they could bring kids in for free. And so you're basically getting your husband and your 2 kids. I don't know how many kids it was up to, like in the lounge for free. And coming from the other side of the coin, because I can see it both ways, but I am the other
Mhm.
side. I am so freaking happy
Well,
because
honestly
they were all with they're always crowded and there's always a wait. And I was like, this is the single occupancy tax. I'm paying the same amount, the annual fee, spending the same amount of money to get this, and your entire family got in before I did. And that's 3 people that don't pay for it. Like, you're splitting it 4 ways. However, I did not have to pay for 4 tickets to fly. So, like, I totally get the flip side, but also, like,
Mhm.
I'm pumped. I am
Well,
pumped.
honestly, lounges, I would say the last because I have, like so I have 2 ways to access 3 ways to access lounges. So, like, I have, like, an Amex Platinum credit card that grants you lounge access to a lot of lounges. Then I also have something have you heard of this? It's called Dragon Pass. You heard of this?
I feel like that's made up.
It's
That
not.
shit's
It's a
made up.
real thing. It's 100% a real thing. And what it is
Canada thing?
it might be. I don't know, it's an app, and you, like basically, I get 10 with this app, I get 10 lounge access included.
Okay.
So, I can pick in just about any airport, there's 1 lounge that I can get access to for
How
free
much do you
with
pay?
this app. Well, I get it because of a what is it? It's, like, through my banking. It's like a benefit
Okay.
through my banking that I have.
Gotcha.
So, I get access to it for free. But every time I tried to go into a lounge for the last 8 months, they are jammed. I cannot even get in. So I can't even use the lounge access that if I have a business class, I can't get in because it's full.
Yeah.
Or with my premium card that I'm paying quite a bit of like annual fee for every year, can't get in. Or this other like I'm literally have 3
Yeah.
ways to get into some of these things. For record, I don't fly business class all the time. It's
You
rare,
forgot
but
your
still
4th
I
way.
can because I'm pretty.
Yeah. Sugar daddy, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
no, we're
privileged.
still taking applications. So it's like, so selfishly, someone who travels, I take minimum of probably 15 flights a year where I would like to be able to get that lounge access. I'm paying for it in one
Yeah.
way or another. This is kind of good news for me.
I know.
I'm kind of
I am
excited about it.
stoked. Yeah.
I'm
And I don't
sorry,
know,
families.
I think it was just for Capital One lounges, but also
Mhm,
if the families are at if they're using airports that have Capital One lounges, like JFK has them now, and
mhm,
before I'd only been to 1 Capital One lounge because it was like DFW because they
mhm,
didn't have any at JFK, and I was always flying out of JFK. So, they finally built one in Terminal 1, and it's actually really nice. I was there I think I used it on the way here, but if they're not using those Capital One lounges, or they can't use them like, they may not even use the priority pass, so I don't know. It'll be different. I think, yeah, I something had to change. I mean, to be honest, like, it was getting a little, and it was to where you could, like, look on the app and be like, "Oh, this time gets really busy, so do you want to reserve a time for yourself for $9?" And I was like, "I'm already paying."
yeah. How many
Yeah,
ways
and
can
then
they get that money?
yeah, and then it was like you could reserve, and then the priority pass lounges, there's certain ones that, like, the airline branded lounges, they'd be like, "Hey, during these hours, priority pass is not allowed," which is okay because it's kind of like
Mhm.
lounges used to just be, like, exclusive, right? Like, that's the whole point. And
Yeah.
now anyone can buy priority pass and get in, and by anyone, I mean me, because
Yep.
I don't fly business that much either, but yeah, it used to be business lounges. People that flew business had a place to work and had quiet and could get good internet and whatever.
Yeah.
And they just, I think with the expansion of apps like Priority Pass, when you're like, oh, it's not as exclusive, and then credit cards were throwing it in, and it became kind of like
Yeah.
hand. So
They've gotta do something because honestly, it's like you're not getting any benefit from it like, so frequently. Like, the Amex lounges, forget about it. They're they're useless. You can literally never get in.
yeah, there's the new Amex Lounge also in no, Atlanta. And I don't have that Amex card because you
Mhm.
had to have an Amex Platinum or a Delta co-branded card, and I didn't have either. I just had the Amex Gold. And so I just
Yeah.
sat outside like a toddler that couldn't get into the concert.
Like a
It's like,
sad puppy in a pet shop window.
"Does anyone wanna take me in? I just wanna see it."
Yeah, I'm
I'm like, "Who do I
hoping
think I am?"
I've got some business class flights coming up, and I'm like,
You
I
sure
am
do.
going to use those lounges if I can. I 100% am going to use them, and I will have
No,
no shame about it.
yeah,
I will enjoy every
definitely.
moment.
And that's the best because 'cause you'll be like, "Here's my ticket."
Yeah,
You're like, "Business. I'm
yeah.
business? Do you see that I'm business?
Can't
Excuse me,
can't
I'm
kick
in
me out.
business class." Like, you're like,
I'm supposed to be here.
"Yeah,
Yeah, let
I'm
me just show
business."
you
You're like,
how important I am.
yeah. You're just like
Yeah, thank you.
you're trying to cut the line. You're like, "I'm in business." And they're like,
Yeah.
"So are we." You're like, "Oh, okay, sorry."
Yeah, my bad, my bad. I love it. I get a weird rush when I have because we all know when you line up at an airport and you're like waiting to get like when it's time to stand up and everybody goes and waits. And when you have that like what is it? Number 1, what do they call that? When you have
Zone.
like one zone. Thank you. When
Mhm.
you have the first or zone boarding and like everyone, it's always the people in zone like 5 and I'm saying this from experience as well as a person who is in zone 5 that you're like waiting to get on. Now I am paying extra to get that zone 1, but I love when they like all rush up and they're like only zone 1 and they actually follow through on like making sure that it is the ones and the twos that go through first. And when I actually have it and I'm like, oh, this feels so good. I get to actually, it is worth it to be able to put my backpack up
No, it
above
is.
and not have to jam it
Also, when you're in zone
underneath.
1, you're priority boarding or you're in business, so you're like, don't really have to worry about space because you have it. Um,
It depends on
but
how big that airplane is, my friend.
I
Depends on
will
how big that
say
airplane is.
I did get in a little tiff with a woman, um, on the plane, actually coming back from Frankfurt in December. It was my last leg to get back to Charleston, so it was JFK to Charleston, and
Mhm.
it was really interesting because this is how you, like, kinda have to pay attention to the game, but I had shocking overweight luggage. I don't know how that happened, but,
No, we never
and so I was coming from Frankfurt. Did I have a stop? I think it was just Frankfurt to JFK, and then I had to grab my luggage because I that was my first, stop in the States, so I had to grab my luggage and recheck it, and Delta was like, "Oh, your bags are overweight. It's $150." And or I could have I got a, thing on my app that I could upgrade for $90. It was gonna be more than 150. Upgrade for $90 or like 8,000 points, which I end up just using points, um,
Mhm.
and, um, to business, and so the baggage was, included, so I was like, "Boom," so I did that, and so when I got on the plane, the the only thing I had was a canvas bag and a backpack. The plane was a 1-2 seating, and, like, it was I don't know which size plane it is, I'm so sorry, but the overhead on my side, it was like I was in the throne seats, was, like, half the size. Like, I mean, you could stick a jacket in there. I mean, it was just a really small.
Yeah,
I had to put my backpack across the aisle, and then I put my bag underneath. I mean, that's what I brought. So when people
standard
are, like,
practice.
bitching that they're like, "There's a backpack up there," I'm like, "What if they have 2 bags?" I'm like, "What if that's my 2nd bag?" And so I think the flight attendant was like, "Oh, whose bag is this?" I was like, "Have a bag." And then this freaking, like, New Yorker, Brooklyn woman,
Yeah,
these 2 women that were going to Charleston to probably party, had Botox and whatever. They were wearing fur and da da da. They sat across from me, and she was like, she saw me put my backpack up there. She's like, can you move your backpack? I have a suitcase." And I was like, "No, I have another bag under my seat. I don't have anywhere to put it." So She ended up getting her bag up there fine, but then she was making remarks to her friend and was like, backpacks shouldn't be up in the carry-on. But she was like turned toward her friend, and I was like, I'm over it. I've been traveling so long. And I was like, am I gonna be the woman on video right now? Because I was like, where would you like me to put it, ma'am? I said, do you see mine over here? I said, where would you like me to put it? And she just ignored me because, confrontation probably scares them. But I was
Yeah.
like, I don't have anywhere to put it. And she said it one more time. And then when we were getting off the plane, the girl in front of me, she was talking to her and she was like, where's your bag? And it was like a row behind. And so she grabbed it for her, didn't touch my backpack at all, didn't like offer to get it down for me.
No, why
She got
would
off the
you?
plane and her friend grabbed my backpack and gave it to me. I was like, thank you. I was like, you're the one that's probably like grabbing her from fights and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, should we wrap up? Yeah. I was going to say also for the hot take, comment below or like put your like what's your feeling about the Capital One policy? Are you on the families need to get a little break or the single tax needs a little break? Like which one are you on? Which side? I totally agree with both, but I'm on the single tax side, so I'm pumped for it. But let me know what you think and like if you're gonna change anything. Like are you gonna cancel your card? Are you gonna go somewhere else? Go to a different credit card company? I don't know. Yeah. Sorry if you only heard Heather for 5 minutes today. I was yapping it. So
Last week.
Okay, see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Truly.
If this episode made you laugh, think, or feel slightly more normal,
Share it with a friend who's also a little location confused.
you can find us on Instagram at Location Confused.
And don't forget to follow or subscribe so you don't miss future episodes.
We'll see you next time.
Wherever we are.